Hi everyone, today I'm going to be going over a program called Sublime Text, and I chose this program for our text object assignment because if you noticed in the description for our assignment it says that we need to, or are recommended to, code our text. And basically when you're referring to coding text, that refers to HTML or CSS. So I chose to go over a very simple text editor that will allow you to kind of mess with HTML and CSS and add some cool effects to your text, whether that be animating it, changing the color, or simply changing the font. And I chose Sublime Text because it's a very basic, kind of bare bones text editor that I feel is really well suited for beginners. So yeah, I'm just going to be going over kind of some general tips and tricks, how to download it, and just some basic rules for whenever you want to set up some documents. So first things first, you're going to need to actually download the program. So you can basically just either Google Sublime Text and it should be the first link that pops up, or just go to www.sublimetext.com for a direct link. So once you're here, and you can see I already am, you just want to go over to download. And the newest version of Sublime Text is actually Sublime Text 3. But however, this is in beta, so if you would prefer to work in a complete program that is totally functional, you're not going to run into any bugs or anything, you do have the option to download Sublime Text 2, which is the most recent version before this one. So here you can see that you have a lot of different options for which operating system you have. So this is compatible with either Macs or PCs. And so you basically would just want to select whatever you have. I have Windows 64-bit, so I'll just kind of show you what pops up if you do that. So right here you can see it'll start downloading, and you're just going to want to click on it and just go through the configuration. It's pretty self-explanatory. It'll walk you through the download process and it shouldn't take too long. But since I already have it downloaded, we're going to go ahead and just hop on over. So this is what the interface looks like. Now I know this looks pretty crazy because this is actually a project that I've already worked on, so just ignore all of this. So I'm just going to go over a few basics about the interface. Here you can see you have all your basic options that you'd find in really any program. It's pretty intuitive. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to File, New File, and you can see it just kind of brings up this blank document that you can type on. And you're probably noticing that this text is not the same as this file I showed you previously. And that's because this is actually saved as an HTML file, which will grant you access to this lovely color scheme, which is just really intuitive when it comes to identifying your tags and other components that you're going to need to help you whenever you're coding. So this may seem counterintuitive, but the first thing you're going to want to do when you create a new file is actually to save it. So just go to File, Save As, go to your computer and just wherever you'd like to save it. I would recommend your desktop for now because that's probably the most easily accessible place. And you just want to save it as index.html. And what this does is it tells your computer and it tells Sublime Text basically what you're working with, what file that you're using. And once you actually want to upload it to a browser, that will also allow whatever browser you're using to correctly read the document. Okay, so after you create this initial document, and I'm actually just going to get rid of this for now because we don't really need this. After you create your initial HTML document, you're also going to want to create a CSS document. And CSS is really important because while HTML is very simple and you can basically just dump a framework with your text object into it, CSS is what's going to make it possible for you to really make that text super fancy, add some colors and fonts and all that jazz. So this is very similar to whenever you make your HTML document, in that you're just going to make a new file and then you're going to save as. And one important thing, make sure you're putting all this in one folder just so you can keep track of it. So we're just going to call this demo. And So let's just bring this on over. Okay, so right there you saw I made sure my index file was also in this folder, and then you're just going to want to do styles, you can name it whatever you want, .css. So this is the basic thing you need to do when it comes to just setting up your HTML and CSS files, and that's really all you're going to need for this project. HTML and CSS are pretty extensive topics. I will include some resources at the end of the video for you to just learn the basics that you need for this project. So I won't be going too far into that. And what I would really recommend that I love to do is go to W3 Schools, and it will basically go over all the basic things you need to know about HTML and CSS. And it has, you know, all these markers that you can go to that will just bring you directly to what you want. So you can pick and choose what you want, which will be all text-based. So I highly recommend this resource. And then another great resource if you just want to learn the basics is Codecademy. And I'm sure you guys have gone over this in your Internet Studio classes if you've taken Internet Studio, but this is also just a really great walkthrough resource that is very instrumental in beginner learning when it comes to HTML and CSS. So that's really it. I hope that this was helpful and that you choose to use Sublime Text if you're going to code for your text object.